Hey, welcome to the Huntsville Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin, and we got stories of grit, growth, greatness right here in the Huntsville area. And today, my guests are two of my favorite people. They're Heidi and Deven Dehnel from Core Strength and Performance. It's got to add a little name on that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But they got a great business story that I think everyone should learn something from. And they recently made a boss move that I'm really excited about. So welcome to the show, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on. Hey, man, I've never used Boss Move before. That was a little awkward. Sorry about that. Oh, man, I got off to a rough start. So I'm going to take it back to kind of the beginning right here. So what made you guys decide to open Core Strength and Performance here at Huntsville?
I couldn't get a job when I got out of the Army. So I did 13 years in the Army. And then I was like, oh, dude, I got degrees. I'll get a job. I couldn't get a job. And then I was working at MBA at the time. And someone had tried to sell us a gym. And I was like, man, I'm not learning anything that's MBA. And I was like, let me see your books. And I was like, oh, his books are wrong. I did learn something. And basically we realized that it just was a bad deal. And then Heidi was like, we both have degrees in this. And we both train people. We've both done this. We both and so we're like, all right, let's do it. And then we lived in El Paso at the time. And so we looked at Hawaii because that's where, she's from, and who wouldn't want to live in Hawaii? And then we realized normal people can't afford to live in Hawaii. So it's and my parents live out here and we have 3 kids. So it just made sense that this is a much more realistic, affordable option. And, it's a great town. South Huntsville to me is awesome. It's way better than the rest of Huntsville. So.
Yeah. Hey, man, my world stops at Martin Road. That's where it stops.
It's airport.
But yeah, I think some of the best business owners I know are absolutely unemployable anywhere else. So I think that we're going to take that back. So
funny because I think people expect a more fantastical story. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs kind of start off in a way like that, where it's an unusual, it's not pretty, right? I was working full time. I went back to doing full-time work instead of personal training, just because when he was getting out, somebody needed to have the stable job. So we were kind of managing, and it was nice for him because he got to stay home with Kaimana, our youngest, for a while, but which was just a whole another experience to have him at home with just Kaimana. I mean, they would just, the other 2 learned how to read by the time they were 2. Kaimana was just going like this. And they just do that for 30 minutes straight.
But she could deadlift 200 pounds.
Yeah, right? She's real strong.
I mean, education's important, but biceps are more important.
That's what they say. It's in a book somewhere.
But yeah, I think it's funny because it kind of grew out of necessity a bit. I think we were willing to take a risk, right, with initially even trying to buy the gym and then saying well, let's just go for it, which seems, when you think about it, crazy because we moved from Texas to start a business here in a place we've never lived. Really was when I look back at it, there's a lot of risk in that. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of maybe red flags, maybe, I mean, we did everything we could to make sure that it started off right, but it was still very risky from the get-go.
Man, there are no perfect conditions, though. I think you just got to go for it. If you decide you want to do it, it's never going to be right. I knew what I wanted to do for 1 year before I did it, just because I was a coward. Just go to get started. I wanted it to be perfect. There's no perfect situation, right? You just got to go and fix it as you go.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't think about things. I just kind of do them. For me, perfect's never an option. I'd rather just bomb it and give it a go. But I will say it's hard because we didn't know anybody. So it's just hey, you want to join our gym? Who are you? Nobody. We tried all just walking to businesses, walking to the police station, walking in and being just hey, we have a gym. I don't care. All right, well, we're here. And that was really humbling also. It's
And then we have a family to think about, right? So we were both working in the business initially, and we did have some working capital money saved, but that kind of went down out the door very quickly. All that money left when you move to a new place, buy a new home, and things go wrong with your home. So there was a lot of money we spent right off the bat that we had saved in order to kind of do the business. And we just laugh about it now because anytime something like that happens, we just go, of course that would happen to us. Of course that would happen.
You've been around the small business world for a while here in Huntsville. What's something you think we could improve around?
Well, Devin's biggest complaint is that he wished there were more food spots. Of course, right? He would love more food spots. As far as
I do think that for small businesses, there's a lot of commercialized stuff. There's a lot of franchising stuff, but they're I do struggle to find a nice small business like restaurant to go and eat and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of new places opening, and maybe I'm just not in the know because like I'm really bad at knowing things. But like but like I just feel like like maybe better communication on like what is out there. Like I think you do a great job of that, of bringing up like businesses that like I would never heard of. I see people on your podcast, and I'm like, and I know Joe, so I trust who's going to bring on there, and so it's just one of those things. Like I think a little bit more awareness and and those things is just I think beneficial because I'm not in the loop on a lot of stuff, so I think maybe trying to find ways to connect like that would be better.
I think also the mindset of it, because like, we connected, us three connected because you have a growth mindset. And so and though we both run fitness programs, essentially, and I guess in other worlds, we would be competitors, but it becomes the opposite. We refer people, like, because everything's a little different. People wanted to come to us, they would come to us. They want to come to you. It's all different. So I think I would love to see more of that kind of connection with maybe other fields too, outside of just fitness, because I feel like we've all done a pretty good job of trying to branch out and get to know different fitness businesses in the area.
I think that's actually an even better answer than mine. Because when people ask me like, well, what do you think about this gym opening up? I'm like, it's not competition. And they're like, well, what do you think? I'm like, it's not though. Like if all the gyms in Huntsville filled up, we wouldn't have enough gyms for the people in Huntsville. So it's like, I want them all to win. I want phase 3 to win. I want you to win. I want my buddy from Lamar from Little Northern or up north to win. I want Andy over at BCI to win. Like I want because we need these people to keep staying in business. So people come over to us and they're like, we had a guy come in and he's like, hey, you're not a boot camp. I'm like, I sure am not. But we know somebody who does a boot camp and maybe he knows more to fit more in line with what you want to do. Hey, I want to be athletic. Hey, I'm not going to train you for the combine, but I know a guy. And through these relationships, we've been able to refer out, and because we don't look at it in any way as competition. We want everybody to win because the more people who do it, like it's just better off. And so, and it also is like a lot less stress because like when you don't spend your time hating on what other people are doing, and it's like someone calls like, hey, what's this thing? Like, hey, how can I help you? So like, I think her answer was way better because I think that has made what I do with work more enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Like that. You can come to me and I can be honest, like, hey, I can't help you, but I know someone who can, and I can just send them away and feel like I did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep the customer, the client's best interest in mind and not your bank account, right. I think you're going to win 100 times out of 100. So you guys are great about that. I do that as well because I think, especially in the fitness industry, if you look at Hollywood, we're always the goobers. They're always an idiot. So if we can kind of raise the professional level across the board, and that's what people expect when they walk into a fitness center, I think it's good for all of us across the board. So professional people in the fitness industry, I'm going to refer them all the time. If it doesn't work at my place, hey, I know an awesome place that it might fit for you. And you guys do that too. So you mentioned some of your mistakes earlier. What was one of the early mistakes you made that kind of turned into a powerful lesson that's helped you going on forward?
I would say if we had more working capital, right? So we did have it. And as we moved here, when things started to happen, a lot of that, for all different reasons, went down the drain. I think that had that not went down the drain, like we had more, it would have been less stressful for us in the beginning because we weren't making money. We're in the red for a good while. And it is what it is. I mean, we just made it happen, right? Like we did what we had to do. We kept the business going. And I think, at least for me, I think that if somebody else had gone into it thinking like, I'm only going to need like a couple thousand, you're going to think about what you're going to need expense-wise for at least 6 months to a year. You should be able to save that up for at least 6 months to a year. And I think we had already committed to doing everything. So as things went on, the money still slowly started draining, and we were kind of like, all right, are we going to still do this? Like this is, we initially thought we were going to pay for all of this out of cash, and now we're going to have to charge it. And that was definitely a big, like, hard lesson for us. But yeah, I think if somebody else is going into it, I think really thinking about, one, having enough money to suck at it and not make money for a while, because that does happen. And two, try to be the best that, you could be at it. I tried to learn everything I could on the business aspect of it. And Deven, he went really deep into the certification route. But yeah, I think, at least for me, I think that would have relieved a lot of the stress early on. But, right?
Yeah. I mean, I probably have three things that for me is like understanding your roles. Me and Heidi have roles in our business, and it's very clear. Like if someone comes up to me asking money, I'm like, hey, that's Heidi. But don't touch the programming or the coaching. Like Heidi comes and she respects it. She'll come over like, I think we could be better here with coaching, and I'll listen. But like at the end of the day, like I do the programming and I do the things. And like if she's like, hey, we don't have the money to do that, I just don't buy it. So we have clear roles, but we're willing to listen and talk, and and our communication's gone through the roof, like so much better over the years. And when we started out, like I felt a little unsure of my skills, and so I thought I'd compensate with all the nice equipment. So I spent more money than I needed to. And, a few months in, I'm like, I don't even need half this equipment, and I bought all this stuff. So I'm selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and because I don't need it. And then for me personally, the biggest thing for me was I was an awful, awful person in the beginning time of my Army career. Like when I was like a young leader, like they called me a leader. I was a sergeant, but I wasn't a good leader. I was bad. And I treated people poorly. And that realization of experiencing and coming aware of how awful I was to people really led me down this path of being like, how do I be better? Like I don't want people to like look at me like that. I don't want people to feel that way when they're around me. So like the biggest things for me is just like, as far as personally was being an ultimate failure and then coming back to like try not to make up for it. But in a business standpoint, is understanding my role with my business partner and my wife, because I have a business partner in the other thing, and we have roles, and I tell them that, and you don't always need the fancy things. Those are the biggest things for me, is just working through those.
Yeah, man. You got 50 thigh masters right out the gate. Like I only need 10 of these.
He's almost done with his doctorate, and he has more certifications than I have frames. And we both do. I mean, we are constantly trying to improve our coaching, even though I handle, because I still coach, but I handle a lot of the boring stuff, right? The admin, the marketing, and all that. But each year we're working on a different certification so that we're improving us and our coaches. So that is, on the side note, but he's still trying to get better. You can always
got to. I mean, you get left behind. I mean, I know when I graduated college with my degree in exercise physiology, I knew everything. And then now every year I know less. Like what has happened? So, yeah, you gotta stay on up. You don't want to, otherwise you're just that dinosaur that's been doing the same thing since 1982.
Yeah. Oh man. And we know
they're out there rocking the Zubaz. They're out there. So man, if people think running a gym is like, oh, you just get to work out all day, right? So, but man, it is super demanding and it's easy to get burnout. How do you guys stay away from burnout and stay motivated?
So I got really tired of it in the beginning, to be honest. But then my friend told me, he's like, because we struggled for years, like running the business. It was a long time before we made money. One of my friends told me, he's like, if you're going to fail, he's like, fail doing it your way. Because I was trying to do, like, I'd see people doing things certain ways, doing things like, oh, I'm like, well, I got to try this because, like, they're successful. And then he was like, it's your thing, So we ended up, like, I mean, it'd been 4.5 years and I hadn't taken a day off, really. So then we started, like, hey, spring break, we're closing the gym for a week. Fall break, we're closing the gym for a week. And Christmas, we close for 2 weeks. And our gym's 24/7, 24-hour access, whatever. So I'm like, we'll give you a workout program. You can come and use it. But we're going to take time and spend time with our family. And if you don't like that, that's okay. We'll cancel your membership. And you're free to go. One person didn't like it, and the rest were like, hey, yeah, you should have a life, So it's like, it's for, I don't even know what the question was.
You answered it without knowing what you were answering?
I'm talking, and I'm like, I'm thinking we're going to tangent.
No, just about avoiding burnout, and that's it, man. If you're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never taking time off,
taking that time off allowed me to sit back, just let my brain relax, spend time with my family, because my kids, like 2 years, they're going to be gone. You know that feeling. It's wild, and so it allowed me to like take that time, and I came back just more fresh and able to give more and care more about the people in the gym and build these relationships, because now I know these people are here, and even when we're closed, they're here. And I'm like, that's a high level of respect you have for a group of people who are going to pay you even when you close and take care of you. And like, I mean, our business is there. Like COVID, let me tell you how our gym supported us during that. When you start seeing these things and the support that you have from the community down here, I'm like, you can't help but be grateful and try your best to, like, it's hard to be burnt out because these people cared so much about you. They provided for you, it's like, so for me, I always look at it like, I'm so grateful for our members that, like, if I can do anything to help them out, by all means, like, it's kind of a mutual thing that we built. It's like relationship with them, but it started with taking a little bit of time off so I can not lose my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing we slowly developed was, and people love to use this word, and it's one of but boundaries, right? What does the boundaries look like? I think in fitness, it's a little blurred. And I feel like some fields are like this, maybe like people in the beauty field. And, you can get a text message at all times, right? And we tell people like, hey, we have office hours, between the time of 8 and 6, you guys can text us about anything. But if you text us after this time, we'll get back to you the next day. And so, one, having a number, if you have a number that could be separate, like a business number, that would be great. But if you do give out your personal number, making it very clear, like, hey, I'm not going to answer your text about your technique or the supplement you want, or whatever it is at 8:30, just because you were looking at something online and now you're like, hey, I want to buy this, and in the beginning, he was like, I don't care, because he'd have people who were in like, that were deployed. And so they were at different hours. But after a while, you get burned out by people just asking you questions. And so like now when I have people, especially online people, I'll say, hey, I just want you, tell them the boundaries and all that. And if that something of that gets violated, or, they don't, I guess, get it, they're like, I just want you to think about this. When you leave work and your boss texts you at this time, or your coworker texts you, are you going to write him back? They're like, no. Same idea, right? Like, it's because the lines are a little blurred in my field. So, and we're very friendly, right? Like, because we can be very friendly in these situations. That's how we build these relationships with people in the community. So sometimes it is hard. I personally try to adhere to these as much as possible. He'll sometimes break the rules a little bit just because he doesn't care. Let me know this text. But that, when you got 100 people possibly texting you throughout the week and you're trying to just have a nice relaxing time watching a movie with your kids, it sometimes can just snap you back into like, one of these modes. And it can feel like you're always working. So I think one thing for me is setting those boundaries. So like when I do talk to people, like, here, these are the times, or we message through an app where it's like all through our training app, and that helps to kind of put a little buffer there. But yeah, I think that outside of putting those actual vacation days, those were really important for us, because it's hard because you got to still connect. We always have family dinners. That's another thing. We try almost all, maybe one day we won't, but almost every time we'll keep the kids up or we'll eat late, but we're all together, at least having dinner together, because that might be the only time I get to have like a real conversation with them, where it's like, we learn, especially the older kids, they're not the ones who are sharing a ton all the time, but yeah, that's probably things that we
It's so important about those boundaries you're mentioning. We teach our clients how to treat us, right? And,
yes.
And man, if you let them run wild, they for sure will. Because I get it, man. It's like a 2 or 3 people. No worries, I can do that. But the numbers start going up, then your phone's just blowing up. Like you said about supplements and my knees hurting. What should I do about this?
Yes.
I'm just trying to watch Moana over here. I just want a little peace and quiet with my kids. But yes. That could be 24/7 in our business, because someone's always needing something, and they're not worried about your time. It's worried about whenever it hits their mind, they send it off. So, you gotta have office hours, just like a professor or something like that, or anything. So I'll answer your questions on these. But hey, man, some people are wild. They're up at 2 a.m, especially you got deployed people at 2 a.m. texting you. So
I tell my phone's always on, but it's always on silent.
yeah,
so like
same
whenever
here.
I see it, if I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll answer it. But like sometimes so I don't stress it. Like but my phone's always on silent, so like it'll be next to me, but I won't even know. And so I'll pick it up when I'm ready. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I also give people grief. Like, I like a lot of sarcasm, so people who interact with me understand they're going to get it back. Especially they text me. I'm just playing video games at 10 o'clock at night, and I get a text. I'm like, I got you. Let me have some words with you first.
All right. So you mentioned earlier, things are going well. The gym's getting busy. You're finally making money. You got your systems in place, and then you decide, you know what? We need to blow this up and make a huge change. So you guys recently made a huge change. Tell us what that is, and then tell us kind of why you decided to make that boss move. There it is again.
Go ahead, babe.
So the change is we started another business in the same location, but we started martial arts. So we started it's jiu-jitsu, judo, and karate. It's Okinawan form of karate. It sounds like impulsive, but me and Dave worked together 14 years ago. We were in the Army together. 13 years ago, something like that. Anyways, we're in the Army together, and we worked together, and we became friends because, like, in the Army, at the time we would we'd make bets all the time. But we'd always pay with energy drinks because you have to stay caffeinated. So he is like talking about martial arts. I'm like, you're full of crap. And he's like, I kick you in the head right now. I'm like, not with your bum knee. And then he, like, from like this close, puts his foot on my shoulder. I'm like, so I do a walk of shame, get this case of monsters, because I bet a case of monsters was just an unreal bet. And I walked back and we became friends. And then over the years, we talked about it, we joked about it. And then I got out and started the gym. And I was like, hey, you know, if it ever becomes a thing, like, and, you know, it's kind of wishful thinking. And then some things happened and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, fortunately, I work for myself, so I can do anything I want. And he's like, want to do it? I'm like, talk to her. She's like, yeah. And then we had to convince his wife to move. So it's been kind of talked about for years. You've done jujitsu. If you do the community right and you have everything going right, it can be a great thing, you know? And so for us, it's like, it's something I've always enjoyed doing, but like, it's just like, sometimes like when you have your own place, it's like hard to get out and go do, because our hours are the same as everybody else who does fitness hours. So it's hard to like take time to go and find for weekend training. So now I can just train in my own place. But the difficult part was because our gym before was 800 square feet. And so we ended up getting 7,500 square feet because it makes sense to do that jump. But what ended up happening is we were exceptionally fortunate. We had someone who knew someone who had a place that wasn't on the market. And then they ended up being like, here's a rate. And I'm like, are you for sure? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, that's not real at all. I'll take that. And it's just because Huntsville has become, in my opinion, very hard for small business to afford. It's like some of these rates are like we were offered a place in one location that's $45 a square foot. I'm like, there is no way I could ever afford that. Like, we'll give you 3 free months. And I'm like, in the 4th month, I'll be out of business. It's very hard as a small business to find locations. And like, well, just buy. I'm like, yeah, there's a dump of a laundromat that was down the street from my house. And you have to tear the whole building down now. They want $1 million for it. I'm like, no, it's like, you know, it's like, it's hard to like find locations to buy is unreal, you know? So it's like one of those things we're looking at. It's just like when someone had this, they were like, well, we looked at numbers and, you know, like, we're like, man, we could really legitimately do that. It's very affordable. And the landlord seemed really kind, and I've had nothing but amazing relationship with them so far since we go in this renovation process. So, you know, luck. We got some luck. Knew the right people who knew somebody who's like, I might have a place. You know, like, because we're looking at a lot of places and they were expensive. We're like, I don't know if we can really do this. Like, it's just so, you know. So, yeah, a little bit of luck. Knowing somebody who's a wonderful martial artist for 40 plus years, you know, and then
networking.
Yeah.
The networking, right? Like we and he's an introvert, like outside, he's not a big networker, but I think when you care about people and you put people first, in our gym, we started making all these connections with people. And then those people want to see you succeed. So they're like, hey, they keep an eye out for things. And so those people were like, hey, this guy knows about this place. Like, it really was that, because we were looking for like a year for a place. I mean, it was hard.
Our contractor is my first member. She's still a member in the gym.
Yeah.
It's her and her husband's business. Yeah. And she was like, I told her for years, I'm like, if we ever expand, you're the person. I'm like, I didn't even quote anybody else. I'm like, I told her, if I expand, you're the person. So, and they took care of us. But it is, the relationships, like someone looked at my lease. He's a member of my gym. He's a lawyer. And he's like, let me look at your lease, no charge. Let me look at it and make sure. He's like, no, change these things. And so I had my lease adjusted. There's someone looking out for me. You know, like I said, we got lucky with the amount of people around us who have come to, you know, it's clear they care about us. Because I've been talking about wanting to expand the gym for a couple of years now, but I'm like, well, got to figure this martial arts thing out. And so everybody's always like, I get people send me like randomly 10 o'clock at night, like, hey, have you seen this building? I'm like, I'll answer this time.
And we opened yesterday.
We did open yesterday.
It's awesome, man. But I mean, you're going, like I said, you had the husband and wife team. You got that communication down. But now you're adding on another business partner, some coaches, some extra coaches and stuff like that. Have you got your new systems down, or is that kind of a work in progress?
I think the back end, I guess I could speak to this a little bit more, but I think for the most part, I would say 90% of the systems are in place, right? So that is like how somebody comes to our website, if they're interested, what happens from then, you know, when they come into the door, that whole process leading up to capturing somebody who is going to be, a potential person, right? When they come, what kind of information are they getting emailed? I take care of all of that. And that was already grown over the years with the gym. So I took that same thing and just pretty much copied it for martial arts. And I work with a website designer, and they kind of handle a lot of that for me. But I think the biggest thing, because like nobody knows Dave, he's almost in the same predicament that we were in, but people know us and they trust us. So they start coming and they're like, well, if you vouch for Dave, and you say all these wonderful things about him, then I definitely, I want to try it out and give it a try. I think the hardest thing for us in the beginning was like, we just made a website and then we did some guerrilla marketing, walking around and telling everybody, which I think still has a lot of value. But with this now, I know what to do, right? Like I already know the steps. So the systems in the back end are there. I would say like the systems at the gym are still being built. For example, now we're going to have gis and rash guards and more apparel, more food. How is that process when inventory is low? How often should we be checking that? What's the amount of inventory we have? We have showers now. We have bathrooms that need more cleaning. How often should the cleaners come? That has not been set. And I think I told him, I said, this, and our staff, I said, we're all going to be looking at what's going to function the best. What can we all do to pitch in? And then it's a learning process. Do you think that we need to have more of this at this time? Okay, let's make note of that. Is this organized well enough, or is this like a crazy mess? Okay, let's talk about that. So I think those things that are not that important, those are the kind of like, we can, wing it for a little bit, and then we'll figure that out. Those things we don't really have set yet. But all the important things are set in stone, and they have been since August of last year.
And we look at it like, so our previous space, like I said, 800 square feet, it's very intimate. We do 6 people or less in a class. So like now the gym section is like twice the size. So, but we haven't grown. We won't grow. We won't say like more than 6 people, 6 people or less. Like I think everybody then gets seen, but now it's on the coaches. People can kind of be over there now. And I'm like, so now it's like our systems as a coach, like everybody deserves, like they're paying you, they're coming to you. They deserve an engagement, an interaction, a moment that's theirs. Everybody deserves this when they're in your gym. So someone can't be, and so now we're working on the systems like how are you making sure that everybody gets their moment? Everybody gets feedback from you. Everybody gets a congratulations from you because everybody did something well. They've improved something. They showed up. And, and you can say what you want, but showing up is a big step, So, for me, it's like, now I got to get in and make sure I'm watching the coaches and giving them pointers. Like, make sure when you're standing, like we're looking here, so I can see the corner of my eye, I can see this. Make sure you don't position yourself where your back's to people, because now the space is just, it's available, make sure you try to partner people, make sure we're trying to make sure that everybody's not here and one person's over there, because like our gym is not isolated. Like our gym, we want people to engage and work and talk and stuff like that. So, those things we got to practice. We got to work. Me and Dave are on the same page with martial arts. Is that we're going to run it like the gym, like meet people where they are. Like you come in, hey, I don't want to be the world's best jiu-jitsu practitioner. Like, cool. What are you here for? Some fitness. All right. Maybe I don't partner you with the guy who's trying to crush the world.
It's me.
So like by understanding these things and like so people can come in because like if people have fun, they're more inclined to stay with them, and if we can keep people safe and have fun and minimize their opportunity to get hurt, like they're going to stay around doing something. They might get more confidence and move on to another fitness thing, which is great, whatever, but like if they believe in their body's ability to do things, like they're going to do things. So we try to help them with that. And so, so we're still building the systems as far as the coaching aspect to make sure that people stay healthy, stay seen, and really have fun because they have to be able to enjoy it or they're just going to go home and do whatever they want. So we need people to come in and be like, yeah, I like that, so we're still working on that. The space makes it a little bit more challenging and it's honestly not what I expected.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be growing pains like anything else, but you guys will figure it out. You got your basics down that have been working for years or proven systems, so it'll be like anything else. It's just growing pains. But I'm sure people have been following you guys for a while. They've heard about you, and now that you got a bigger space, they're like, hey, maybe I should go check them out. But they don't think they're fit enough to come train with you guys. What would you say to that person?
I think he said it good by saying, we meet you where you are. We work with mostly adult professionals, so it's like 40 and over. We do have a good amount of people who are in their 20s, but not a ton. And I think that the people that come to us have tried a lot of things and it just hasn't worked for them, whether that be more cardio based or, maybe not even lifting. I think knowing that a lot of people started with us that were truly beginners. I remember we had one person who thought our gym is what most gyms look like. And our gym is not what, like a Globo gym looks like. There's a lot more mirrors, like at least one. The vibe is totally different, so I think anybody who is interested, we love teaching people how to live. Like, I think we've grown over the years to feel really a lot of value personally by being that first step in people's journey again. Some people trained in college and then they haven't trained for 20 years and they're like, well, I kind of know what to do, but I don't know what to do. And I love that. I love being part of that part of you coming back and trying to, be fit again, however that journey looks. So I always tell people, do not wait. Like, that's always nothing is ever going to be right. I think the only thing people should think about is their schedule. Like, are you able to commit to 2 or 3 days a week? That's like the biggest thing. All it is an hour. And that most people can, and it can be difficult, but I think that if you're able to conquer that hurdle, you should definitely take a step in here, because we adjust all of our exercises for the person. We have somebody who's 72.
Over a third of our members are over 55.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's like one of those things, like I'm not attached to any exercise. I don't care. None of the exercises matter. It's like, what can you do? And so so when people come in, I tell people, like, if you want to learn how to play guitar, would you just start playing, or would you hire a coach? If you want to learn how to play golf, would you have somebody help you swing, or would you hire a coach? If you want to learn how to play soccer, would you, having you can do these things. Like, you can do all these things and figure it out. Watch a YouTube video, or you can hire somebody, and they'll streamline it and get you there quicker. And so that's what we provide. We provide a way to keep you, and we also I like to help people understand how strong they really are. So when people are like, well, I don't want to lift with my back, I'm like, why not? Your back's a big giant group of muscles. And they're like, well, I was always told not to, but why? They're huge muscles. And they're like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, how about we make your back really strong? And I would like that. And the next thing I know, I get a text at 11 o'clock at night. I went to Costco and I picked up all the water jugs. And I'm like, hey, how'd that feel? I've never done it before. And I feel like, great. I was on my farm and I picked up the stone. I couldn't believe I picked it up. I tweaked my back a little bit, but you know what? I know that I shouldn't have picked that up. And I'm going to keep moving, which is like lessons. Like people build confidence, like, hey, this thing didn't go great. I can still move. I can still do things. And they give me a heads up because they did something crazy at home. And I just adjust the workout when they come in. Like, how are you feeling? Not great. Let's do this instead. Because none of it matters. They just show up and have a good time. And they've challenged themselves where they can. My job as a coach is to modify it so you can. And so I tell people, you don't need to wait. If you're unsure, try a class. We do a no pressure approach. Like, try the class and leave. Don't sign up. Think about it. And if you like it, we'll contact you and be like, hey, what do you think?
Probably the worst sales technique.
Yeah.
Right? Every sales guy is like, no, you seal the deal then when they are there and you do that. And that actually, we don't like that.
Yeah, what's awful is I'm a decent sized guy standing next to somebody and be like, so what do you want to do? You want to sign up right now? And it feels like pressure. And then they're like, yes, I do. And the next day I get a text and it's like, actually, I don't know. So I tell people, I'm like, go home, talk to your spouse. Can you afford it? Is it the right option? Does the schedule meet? Was it what you expected? Because sometimes people look at us and be like, oh, it looks like CrossFit, but it's not. Sometimes people look at it and be like, well, I hoped I was doing more of this, but they're not. And so I want people, and that's why we don't have contracts. It's just I want people to try it. And if they think they like it, give it a go. And if a month down the road, you're like, now, I'm like, hey, how can I help you find a better place? Because it's, I don't know. I think all those things lead together. There's very little risk in it. So don't wait, be like me. Don't have to be perfect. Just make a decision and try it. Whether it's us or with somebody else, but almost every fitness place offers a free class. So I tell people, try a bunch of them. Do the one that you're like, oh yeah, that's it. And then give them a go. But, to me, I'm like that. If you want to do a little bit better with your body, just give it a go.
Yeah. And it's like you said, no risk. They're going to keep you safe. I know that for sure. They're awesome at keeping people safe and modifying all those things. And then if you don't like it, I've seen Deven slap a credit card out of someone's hand. To get out of here with that. They tried to pay and he slapped it out of their hand. So.
Ain't no good here.
No, you got to prove you belong here first. But yeah, it's no risk. Go try them out. Just see if it's for you, because there's a way to move your body that's for you. And you got to find that. You go try different classes. Maybe core is what you want. You don't know till you go try it, and go try a jujitsu class, maybe like that, or karate, or just try something different. Your life's too short to keep doing the same thing, right? Try something new. Go to core, check them out. So where is the new location? Don't let people know where the new location is.
So our martial arts business is called 5 Minds, like the number 5. And the minds part is just a mindset. It's actually the 5 mindsets for martial arts. So we're all located on Whitesburg. So it's 8503 Whitesburg Drive. We're next to the old Goodwill. We're across the street from Bubby's Diner in South Huntsville. We're very close to the Memorial. So when you exit Memorial, you're right off the exit. So we're literally like 30 seconds from the exit. But yeah, 8503, we're located in the back. So if you come, we'll have a good sign tomorrow. There's no sign there. So all our members were like, I don't know where to go. And so we had to draw a picture out of the parking and everything. But we're located in the back of the building. So it's a big warehouse. The front of the building says Overtime Sports.
We have air conditioning.
We have great air conditioning.
Say warehouse, just make sure.
Yes, it's yeah, because that's like a number one for a lot. Even us, we'll have fans, but we're not running on just fans. So, but we're located in the back of the building. So if people want to come, we always tell them just park in the front and we can walk over into the back is where the entrance is.
Awesome. That's your warm up, by the way. That's your cardio. So
that is.
So I think it's awesome. You guys are, because I don't know how many times I've been doing squats, like front squats, and like, you know what? I really feel like choking someone. I can get best of both worlds at your place. I can do my squats, go over, do some guillotines or something like that. But man, for real,
I need to choke somebody.
That's part of what we have there. Is like we have it set up so like the kids can train and adults can train. Like we have classes kind of set up because we want it to be a little more family friendly. The parent can sit there and watch their kid and be like, do work, and the kid can watch the parent and be like, yeah, do work, mom.
There's plenty of value in that. But I mean, I got so much respect for you guys for making this jump. I mean, it's a huge deal. I mean, like you said, you were pretty comfortable where you're at, and to make this big jump, it's awesome, man. Can't wait to see how far you guys take this thing. So thanks for coming on the show today and sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Joe.
It's awesome, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in as well. Share this story with somebody. Somebody needs to hear the story about Deven and Heidi, what they're doing out there. And maybe you want to share with somebody that wants to go train with them, to really take their lives, their bodies to the next level. Give them a try. I promise I'll take good care of you. Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll see you guys next week on the Huntsville Hustle Podcast.
Thank you.